Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the cabin. I'm not even doing my walk-up because I'm filming at night. I'm filming at night because I'm going to be gone a little bit, and I'm doing a little sourcing, a couple other things. And so I got to get 2 videos in 2 days, and I'm like, I don't want to film 2 tomorrow. And I got enough sales now. Let's roll this sucker now. And there's 2 topics here, y'all. Some controversy on last Sunday's Commonwealth picker video that I think is an interesting topic, and some arguing between some commenters about a totally different topic that I think is a great topic for us resellers out there. And I want to explain what I do a little bit, and I want to hear what you do on a couple of these issues. And we've got some cool sales. Let's go take a look. First topic had to do with buying from kids, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But the other one we're going to talk about before that is this: passing up things at garage sales that have value. And one person, well, I'll tell you in just a second. Low Pro, these are cool. I pick these up when I find them because some people really like them. The big padded fanny packs for cameras. This is a Low Pro Orion camera belt fanny pack, padded. That sold for $25 plus shipping. Probably paid $1. I don't even know what the item was, but I passed something up in a yard sale. I was like, why would you pass? It was $20 or something like that. Like, why would you pass that item up? It sells for $50. You know, you're always buying these $1 things and flipping them for $12 or whatever. And that's more money. What are you doing? That's dumb. And I actually can agree with that. I've made this argument before. I have a feeling it was a particular item that involved either it was large, probably storage, or possibly it was an item that had a low sell-through rate. But sometimes low sell-through rate, hey, when they do sell, they do sell. And so I always make the argument about an hourly wage, and a lot of people criticize that. But I'm going to explain it because the comment that came after it was a reply to that person. And I didn't fully agree with that person. I do generally, but not on that particular item. It might have been something I had to test. Might have been a high return rate item. Who knows? I don't even remember what the item was. But the response, I also didn't agree with. I'm out in the other shed because I had to dig these out of that bin. So all this stuff I just listed. And these sold really quick. This actually kind of ties into this topic. The person's response was, you know, why would you buy a $20 item for $50? The $20 item they can sell for $50. Why would you do that? And I can actually see times when you could do that. Look at this one right here. And I'll tell you another story here in a minute. So I don't agree with the original comment because of the item, but I agree with the sentiment. And I don't agree with the second one, even though having a model like this person did makes sense. Let me tell you what their model was. They said that they refuse to buy anything over 10% of what they think they can get for it. So while I think the first one can be a mistake, not always, I think that one can be a mistake as well, even though who doesn't love to buy something for $10 that'll sell for $100? That's awesome. The problem is the way I think about things is how much time. It's like time plus time divided by hours, you know, squared by joy, right? Or whatever. I'm not a mathematician, but you get the point. I like to think of it in how much time am I gonna put into this, and how much money am I gonna get out of it for that amount of time. And so if it's something that needs cleaned or tested or whatever, 20 into 50 might be a chance for return. Big item, hard to store. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather do the $1 into 12 or whatever. But that's not always the case. 10%, you're leaving a lot on the table if you say 10% is the most I'll pay. What about a $1,000 item? Are you not going to pay $150 for a $1,000 item? I think that can be a mistake too. Anyway, here's a good example. I almost left these because I'm like, the sell-through rate on VeggieTales CD lots are pretty good. And I think they wanted $1 a piece for them. So there's 17. And so for me, it's like, okay, what can I get? I thought I could maybe get 40. I probably could have got 40. I listed them pretty cheap and they sold quickly. I think they sold for $34.95 for those VeggieTales. $34.95. So I said $15, and there was something else. One video game or something that I threw in that was worth 10 or 12. But let's just take 15 into 35. A lot of people wouldn't do that. For me, it was like, this is stinking easy. I'd already opened the cases, made sure everything was there. Sell-through rate is good. $35, I mean, what are we going to do? So 28. It's not a huge profit. It's basically a double up. is basically what you're looking at here. Plus I got to throw in that's probably worth 12 bucks. So for me, it was a yes, because they're stupid easy. And I did it. And I read this on last Friday before I went out on Saturday. And I started thinking like this. And then I'm out there at a garage sale and I come across this lady who had vintage Barbies everywhere, out of the package, all the vintage clothing. It was priced way up there. I'm like, holy moly, am I going to find anything here? I started to do some research and looking into stuff, and I was like, there's not much margin here. It's priced at like 80% of eBay. Like, I don't think I can do it. But then I found one particular Barbie that has tons of sales at $200. And some of them on auction close to $200. And this thing was perfect. I think she wanted $85 for it. 85 bucks. I think that's right. And then there was another Barbie that had, is that right? I'm not sure that is right. Anyway, I'll tell you the whole story and you'll get the point anyways. There was another Barbie that was, there was a bunch of them, but there was another one that had really good comps on it as well. Oh, I know what it was now. So they totaled $150 between the two. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't want to insult you. I'll give you $100 for both of these. And she thought about it for quite a while, and she said yes. So I have a $200 Barbie and probably a $75 Barbie. Anywhere between $50 and $100 on the second Barbie, but this thing was clean, so I'm just going to say $275. $100 into $275 with 2 listings, I'm going to make well over $100 profit on that. Let's do the math. Let's actually say I'm way wrong, which I don't think I am, but let's just say I can only get 200 out of it. So 100 into 200 for 2 listings, because I guarantee you it would fly if I listed them at $150 and $50. Guarantee it would fly. So the fees on $200 is going to be roughly 30 bucks. That means there's a $70 profit on 2 items. 2 items. Easy items in great condition that will sell very quickly. I know you got to invest $100 into it, but to me, turning 100 into 170 in 10 minutes, 12 minutes max, these are easy items to list and ship. That is awesome to me. I mean, think of 5 times 75. Do that math really quick. That's a lot of money per hour. It's a heck of a lot better than, you know, $2 into 20. And that $2 into 20 meets that criteria, right? But it's not a better flip. The other one doesn't even come close to meeting that criteria. It's 50%, for goodness sake. This is a Exerciser Elite by Clark. I have no idea what it was or is. It looks to me like it was a Death Pile Picker buy, which I'm sure it was. And it wasn't bad. Now, I'd have to think long and hard to buy this for $25. But I think in the end, if I was comfortable getting what I got on it, it was not listed long, $75 plus shipping. I would have paid $25 if I had to. I wouldn't have liked to, but you know, anything more than that I probably wouldn't have, because it's not the easiest to ship. It's really not that hard. It's square, for goodness sake. It's not like it's long or weird shaped. But you know, I really do think that how much time you put into something versus how much money you're getting out of it is what should be the determining factor, along with, like I've said before, space and sell-through rate. How long are you going to have it? Speaking of comments, somebody in the comments the other day said, I'm not a reseller. They're from the UK. They're like, I'm not a reseller at all. I don't even go to garage sales. But I watch you because you use the words that you use, especially words like dogmatic. She said, nobody does that. So I got to ask you a question about your dogma. Because somebody who says, I will not buy unless it's 10% is pretty, they're pretty strict about it, right? And I think that can be a mistake. But, you know, like I said, the model can work, and I'm sure it does for this person. A lot of it has to do with how much you have, right? You know, if I have a warehouse full of stuff that I can list, I'm probably not getting that for 20 bucks. But, all right, dogmatic here. Inclined to lay down principles as incontrovertible truth. And I think that a lot of us get caught up in that. I have rules that might not work with you. I have rules with my Tupperware container. I'm not buying Tupperware if this thing is full. Look, I've got space, so if I come across Tupperware and I want to buy it, I can buy it. But this is my Tupperware bin, and there will be no more. If I have that much and it's not selling, I'm not buying it. I've got bins just like that. Like pans. Like I'm not going to buy so many pans that I can't fit them in here. Some of this stuff's low sell-through rate, sporting equipment. That's how I control my buying. But that's based on space. If I had all the space in the world, I might not have that rule. And I think our dogmatic rules are for us. which I guess in essence means they're probably not dogmatic. But nonetheless, I still want to hear your rules for yourself, because you hear me talk about them. I'm curious to see what some of yours are, and we can yell at each other in the comments. I gotta find some. These been around a while. They might be buried in one of these two bins. Since we're talking about people from around the world, these are Italian, I believe. Bruno something or other. I'm not a shoe guy. Sold for $44.95 plus shipping. Which reminds me, I gotta give a shout out to List Eeasier really quickly. Code Commonwealth, $30 off. Because it's now available in, where is it? Australia, Germany, the UK. I'm missing one. Oh, Canada. So go check it out if you're from there. You can get it now. Here's another loose rule that I have that I usually abide by. I usually won't buy Ray Dunn stuff unless it is seasonal Ray Dunn stuff, and the season is upon us or around the corner. Usually around the corner, I hope, and that's what we sold here. And there's some Ray Dunn here, and they sold pretty darn quick, as you can see, because I just went out there and picked them up. Mr. Claus and Mrs. Claus. I did not think, I thought maybe truth be told, I thought maybe a viewer would buy these at the right time, you know? And I don't do that too often, but I did here. But it doesn't look like, oh, it is a repeat buyer. Look at that. I knew I'd be right. Patsy, she did not leave a message. Mrs. Claus and Mr. Claus, and I was going to sell them on Dibdit, but I changed my mind at the last minute because some of those packages get big and glass is a little hard. $18.95 plus shipping. I paid $1 a piece. So it's not bad, and Patsy gets a couple of cool mugs for the holidays. Speaking of Dibdit, I do have a quick announcement really quick as a thank you from me for all the folks that have come over and joined us. We've been doing these dollar offers, and I just went and dug deep in my pocket just to say thank you to everybody. Although one person's going to get it, so everybody else will be mad at me. But I bought it off of eBay. Just FYI, I like to do that. I want to support eBay sellers. This one right here, I paid out of my pockets $550. Brand new Nintendo 2 Switch in the box. Brand new, never been used. Dollar offer is running on Dibdit.com. If you want to go over there and just say, hey, that's great. If you don't want all the alerts, go toggle them off. But come and join us. And we'll be giving this away next week. I'll probably tell you in the next video what day exactly it will be. But somebody's going to buy this for $1 plus shipping. All you got to do is put a $1 offer in on it. And we'll select one person. And they're going to get it shipped to them for free. Should be fun. It won't cost you a dime unless it costs you $1. And if it costs you $1, you're going to make a bunch of money, or you can give it as a Christmas gift for somebody. Just a thank you from me to you guys. There are no dogs out here. There are 3 cats. Only one is going to be daring enough to come in. Check it out. No name. 511 Tactical. It's an eclectic day of sales. We're just different. Everything's different so far, and it continues to be in the next sales coming up. It's a size large. I thought I'd get a little bit more for this, but it did not sell. We put it on 30% off, sold for $14 plus shipping. Still making a decent amount. Oh my gosh, was I wrong? Check this out. There's 3 of them. Has this ever happened, y'all? All you that go back so long? This is No Name. This is Toulouse. That's the kitty. And Pepper went back there, and I'm probably going to have to kick y'all out. Come on. You got to get out of here. I don't have any treats, and you're the only good cat, and you're bad. We'll see what happens. The other topic I'm going to bring up, and I took it in the chin on this topic. No name's up on the shelf already. Was buying from a kid. And I've told this story. I actually previewed it, and I said that this is exactly what would happen. These were the comments that would come in, and it did. And I still don't, I mean, I do care what people think, don't get me wrong, but I've done this my whole life. I'm going to continue to do it, and I'll give my defense of why I do it the way I do it. All right, and I'll read them in a second, and I don't want to offend anybody. Matter of fact, the person who made the comment that most people are commenting on, I actually like quite a bit, and I don't mind other people's opinions. So I've had these for a while. I bought these at the 127, not this year, but last year, and they were hold on a minute. Yeah, they were 1/10 gold filled, so not exactly gold. But they still did sell, and I didn't pay a ton for them, so we did okay. They did sell on 30% off, unfortunately, but $27.97. Y'all, some of these are gold, like gold. And you can do really well. You just got to be patient and look and bring your little magnifying glass. So almost $30 plus shipping. So I'm going to read Charlene's comment. It's still there. She hadn't taken it down. We've corresponded. There's no harm, no foul, no nothing. I try to post positive comments rather than negative ones, but I'm honestly not bashing you. I'm trying to give constructive criticism. Maybe I should have given some context. This had to do with the Bath and Body Works buy, which, well, let me read it, and I'll give commentary as we go. The very first sale with the young boy and his 2 younger siblings, I was in shock. You knew immediately that $1.50 a bottle was a steal. You also knew that you had far more than 100 items. Actually, I don't believe that's true. I think there was like my wife went through them all. I think there was like 111 items, but a lot of them were very, very small little things that weren't those things, but whatever. So I honestly felt like you took advantage of the young man. It doesn't matter that you asked him if he was okay with that amount, which I did. I made sure, I said, think it through. If you want to count them, if you want to do whatever, you know, this is the offer. It also didn't matter that you asked him if he wanted to double check with his mother, because his mom was in, there was 2 parts of this sale in the back. So I did do both of those things. You were well aware those items were worth what you ended up getting for them. Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's why I do it. A young guy like him is going to not have enough nerve to say no to you or want to go ask his mommy. You may speak respectfully to most people, but you also very much took advantage of that boy. Your own son has seen and learned a lot from you. So if that exact same thing had happened to him, you take him aside and make a life lesson. This boy was just helping his family with a yard sale. You'll be defensive because you always are when someone points something out to you. That may be true. I needed to speak up, but I know that deep down most people know that it was taking advantage of this boy, and it was really shady. Okay, so I did respond to it, but I'm not going to read that because I'll just respond to it on here. There were 67 likes for that. So I'll pick another item and give my response. Back in the other shed, which is a complete disaster in our little transformation here. And this sold, and excuse me, I don't remember what it sold for. But I do remember that it sold to a viewer. And I'm going to have to check it out for you. This thing sold for $16 plus shipping. I paid $1 for it at a sale just a couple weeks ago. It's pretty cool. A little ceramic mushroom. Did have one little spot on it right here. Needs a little color. But it's in pretty good shape. And it sold to Julie. And I picked that up thinking to myself that a viewer would buy this. And she used the 5% off coupon. If you look at any of my stuff, you put in code Commonwealth, you get 5% off. Thank you so much. My name is Julie, by the way. Oh, now I get it. I'm like, why you tell me your name? This is Paul. Okay, and you buy a bunch from us. So thank you very, very much. I just have to remember. You have to put that in every single time until I get it in my head that Paul is actually Julie. So I appreciate it. I think you'll like that. I did. All right, I lied. One more, and then I'm going to give my response. This one just sold as well. We just put it in here the other day. I paid up for this one. This will go. This isn't the 10% rule. I would have liked an item like this to be the 10% rule, but I bought it anyways because it was brand new in the package and it had a good sell-through rate. Paid $4 for this, and it sold for $20. And super easy. Really, really. It's just too easy to pass up. So $7. That's a $13 profit. It was in and out super quick, super light to ship, really easy to store. South Park, Stan, and Kenny. 4 into 20 plus shipping. So here's my response to this. And if you've been watching me a long time, I've made this argument before, and I continue to do it in my videos for bunches of reasons. One is because that's what I typically do. I'm not going to do something different because I'm on camera. So there's a couple of things here I think that you assume. The first one is what I knew about the items. Here's what whether it's right or wrong, this was my thought process. My thought process was the first, I don't know, there's maybe 12, 15 on the table at the time, and I may be off, so you can go back and watch it. It was on the 7th. And out of those, 2 of them were opened. 2 of them were opened, and I'm like, okay, I really can't do much with those unless my wife wants it or something. So I had to assume that the other bags had things that were open as well, and I just didn't know how many, and I was going to make a bulk offer. He originally said $2. He immediately went to $1.50 if I bought multiples. So I'm like, okay. I'm thinking to myself, I know there's a lot of this stuff, y'all, that sells for like $10. A lot of it, like the majority of it. So what was in there, I didn't really know what was in there. It turned out to be far better than I thought. But in my mind, this is what I'm thinking. As far as him being a kid and helping out with the family of the yard sale, that wasn't the case. Those are different circumstances to me. If some kid's wandering around a yard sale and whatever, I'm not going to you know, find something that's in the yard sale and say, hey, how much did your mommy want for this thing? I'm not doing that. This was very different. And this is why I make this argument all the time. If parents make the decision to allow their children to sell their own things, you've been there, y'all. I've been to sales where kids are out there and they've got this plush that they like or whatever, and they want $10 for it. It's not worth anything. I still appreciate that from a parent's point of view. Giving your kid an ownership stake in something like that and going through the process of negotiating with people, this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. And that's clearly what this situation was. Two little girls having a lemonade stand. He was selling off this Bath and Body Works stuff. Now I don't do the rough edit on the picker videos. I do the final edit and all the other stuff. But I don't do the rough edit. So I can't remember what was exactly in there. But I was talking to him for a good while. I wanted to get the scenario. I wanted to know that it was him selling this stuff. He said a bunch of people gave it to him. And he was going to sell it off and make some money. I was like, okay. I don't know if this was in there or not, but I saw the mom in the back. And I'm like waving at her. And she gave me a nod. She gave me a thumbs up. And I'm like, okay. And I did it again when I actually made the offer. Just to make sure, right? And this kid was making his own deals. The reality was this was not the crack of dawn. There had been people there already. The reality is, I'll give you some truths here, some dogma. Here's the truth of the matter. I was very comfortable. Matter of fact, later that day, that came out on the Wednesday video, I passed up on Bath and Body Works at a brand new at a yard sale for $2. I passed up on them. I looked those two up, and they were both under $10 sold comps with tons listed. And I passed them up. So, in other words, what I'm saying is I think it would be disrespectful not only to the kid, but to the parent who has given their kid this leeway to do this, to say, no, I'm not going to buy it from you. No, I'm not going to do this with you. I've got to go through your parents. The parent wanted that scenario, and you can tell those yard sales. I've been a teacher for a long time, so this is the kind of stuff I would do with my kids. They lived in a very pricey neighborhood. They don't need the money from a garage sale, I promise you. It is one of the nicest neighborhoods around here. There was a lake behind their house, for goodness sake. So my point is that this was a scenario that they wanted their kids to do, the lemonade stand and do those things. And to me, it's more disrespectful to do it a different way when that's the scenario. I offered $100 for it. There was, we just estimated there being 100 of them, and there turned out to be a little bit more, but a lot of them were smalls. They weren't the full things. And yes, I did better than I thought I would on them. But you tell me that that's what I wouldn't have done with somebody else. I might have said 50 with somebody else, to be honest with you. So I don't have any problem with what I did at that yard sale whatsoever. I certainly didn't take advantage, and I certainly wasn't shady. I made sure I didn't pressure him. I gave him time explicitly. If he wanted to talk to his mother, clearly the mom didn't want that. He didn't want that. And she was watching from the background the whole time. It's exactly what she wanted. I actually went and spoke to her later. Off camera, I spoke to him more. And, like I said, I think that's just me. I'm not going to judge anybody else for doing something else. That's just how I operate with kids at yard sales. I enjoy it. And he was very happy. And I'll give you some more truth here in a second here. So $15 on the Oreo plush. I got it for $1. Or it was a free bin. I can't remember. My dad got this one. I can't remember what he said. I think he said he paid $1 for it. $15 plus shipping. By the way, there was a lot of viewers that responded in a very poor way to you. And I apologize for that. That wasn't me. I wouldn't have responded like some of them, but I do get the sentiment from some of them as well. And a lot of them did respond with, here's the truth. The truth is, if Kevin would have bought those, then another reseller might have come around and might have offered $100. They might have offered less, but very few resellers are going to offer $200 for that lot without digging through it, right? And we did end up throwing 8 to 12 of them away because they were open, they were kind of, gunky. And I'm also thinking in my head, I might sell I might look some of these up and be like, okay, if it's $25 or more multi-quantity, I might sell them on eBay. Turned out there was quite a few that were in the 20s, but I sold a lot of that stuff on Dibdit, and I got $6, $8 a bottle for some of that stuff. And so that was in my head too. Where do I want to be if I'm going to sell it off that way? And if I wouldn't have bought those, what would have happened in reality? maybe another reseller comes along and buys all of them. Not people coming to garage sales for themselves are not going to buy hundreds and hundreds of these things. The likelihood is if a reseller didn't come around, he would have sold 8, 10, 12 of those maybe the rest of the day. It was already a little bit later in the day, I believe. And what would he have done with the rest? Who donated them, and he would have had less money. So I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. I also don't have a problem with you having a problem with it, because clearly a lot of people agree with you, and maybe they gave it a thumbs up because of the way you approached it. You weren't, slamming me and doing whatever. I don't really appreciate the taking advantage in the shady part at the end, but I liked your comment, and it makes people think, and I think about this stuff as well. I also gave $1 each to both of the girls for the lemonade, and it was only 50 cents, so you got to cut me some slack. Here's a bad buy that I'm glad is finally gone. I hate chipping tennis rackets, though. This one, they're $1 a piece somewhere, and I was like, yeah, those look cool. Somebody will buy those. Hulk and X-Men. Sure they will. Well, they didn't. 30% off, $15.37. Ugh. Wish I could go back and not buy those. Plus shipping. I did have a lot of Defenders, though, so, I'm not going to read just the negative ones. And that wasn't terribly negative, like I said. Kevin, I was going to read that one again. Wait a minute. Oh, no, I'm not. This isn't a bad one. When you start off like this, I thought it was a bad one. Kevin, I'm very disappointed to read some of the negative comments directed towards you today. They are unnecessary, unfair, and untrue. You are outsourcing stock to resell, and every good deal you get is often offset by what you shell out on other stuff. Either way, this is part of how you run a business. That needs to turn a profit, and I think you can sleep at night knowing that you have a very good moral compass, that nobody has a gun to their head when you make an offer for something. I'm delighted kids are different. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not different, but you have to kind of scope out the situation to see the context of it. What is the parent trying to do here? This was abundantly obvious to me what the parent was trying to do, because it's the kind of stuff I do to my kids all the time. Turner would be like we'd go up to a gas station and Turner, and I'm right there right in front of the door. This happened just yesterday. And he's like, I really want a snack. He just got done playing a game and whatever. I'm like, okay. And I pulled up and I just sat there. And he's like, are we going to go in? And I was like, no, you can go in. I gave him some money to go get his snack. And he's like, I could see everything right there, right? I'm like, you can do it. It's okay. Here's the money. You go get the change. I'm like, you're 11 years old. I think you'll survive. It'll be fine. And I was like, while you're in there, would you buy me this? And he went in and did it, right? It's tiny, right? But these are little steps in the path that, to be honest, I wish some of these things would have been, I wish I'd have been like, you change your own oil, right? Because I never learned how to change oil. And I kind of regret that. Actually, I don't regret it. I wouldn't do it anyways. I hate changing oil. I've never done it, but I wouldn't want to do it. Any rate, let me finish this. I'm delighted with all the good stuff you got today. Kudos for the dignity and integrity you've shown in the comments and responding to criticism from people who are in no position to judge. Keep your head held high. I know you will. Blessings from Ireland to you and your Pops. Pops is quite a star over there on the Commonwealth Picker channel. People, when he's not in the videos, they're like, where's Pops? I'm like, he can't be with me all the time, y'all. He leaves, I leave, we do whatever. Thanks for sharing the video. This one took a minute to pull out of that bin down there. Realistic stereo mixing console. $49.95 for that one. Plus shipping. Definitely worth it to me. It was in good condition. I don't test this kind of stuff, so hopefully it works out. But it looks clean, and it did power on, so I'm hoping we're all right. Craig says, what does Craig say? Because you bought the good, the bad, and the ugly bundle, your offer was fair. You didn't cherry pick first. Benefit to the seller is he can now spend the day doing whatever he wants to do and take on the burden of getting rid of the bad items. There you go. I like that. This may not be the most lucrative way to bundle, but it is by far a moral way to bundle. But Joy says literally should have given him $2. That's what he wanted, but you didn't get but wanted to get you to buy them, so he set a lesser price. He's a kid. Yeah. But that's not any... That's what adults do, right? So I honestly think it was... I just see zero wrong with this scenario. Zero. I can see a scenario, even if it's not a kid, if somebody with a mental disability or an elderly person or something like that that has no idea or whatever, there are scenarios where you got to feel good about what you're doing. And I do that often. Sometimes I'll put them off camera as well, because it's just, I know I'm just going to get raked over the coals or whatever. It's, you know, it's all part of what we do. But don't ever forget about what would happen to these items. I promise you, I know resellers in this area that would have come in and said $50 for that thing, right? I know them. I wouldn't even blame them. But, you know, for me, I felt very comfortable at that point right there. I mean, hey, anybody who's saying $2 for something and $1.50 if you buy, if you buy a bunch, I don't know what his terminology was. How about everything at $1? You know, that kind of thing. To me, that's what mom wanted. That's what the kid wanted. That's what I wanted. I'm perfectly fine with it. Y'all, will I ever learn to just make a list of all the stuff in here and come and get it? Let's see. I don't know which one of these sold, but they're both Mary Kay, so I'm going to grab them both. And here's another one, because I bought this from a church sale, rural church up here. Far out, not too far out of the way, I guess. About 20 minutes up the road. I got to figure out which one this is, by the way. All right, it's a 3-ounce one, so that one's sold. I'll put this one over here, because that's where I put stuff like this. And it was a sale, and everything was dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. It was like, they had tables. They're like, fill a bag for $5, right? I'm like, sweet. I jammed as much of this stuff in there as I could for $5. It's a church sale. And everybody else in there was doing that too. I have zero problem with that. I will never judge somebody for paying the price, for goodness sake, of what something is. Now, at the same time, did I say what that sold for? $19.95 plus shipping. I bought a lot of stuff that was ancillary stuff. This stuff that was stuff for me, for my family, stuff for Reagan that I wouldn't have necessarily bought. I was buying a bunch of stuff because they were clearly raising money for something. I chose, my bill was like $32. I chose to give them $40. That was my choice. Now, if you didn't choose to give them a dime more than that, I'm perfectly fine with that. If you chose to give them $100, that's awesome. How generous of you. These are not deep moral issues. I just don't see it. These aren't the things that are life-changing. Yeah, it's nice to be kind to folks out there, but part of being kind is taking care of you and your own and your family on into the future. So there's no judgment here on this. I understand kids are a little bit of a different issue. I get that, but you're not going to see me chiming in on somebody else's video saying, oh man, you should have paid. I do it all the time, actually. I just do it as a joke, especially with my cheap reseller friends. Tim, you listening? I've seen y'all out there operating, Jimmy, Eric, all you guys. And the people yell at Dave for being cheap. I'm like, Dave isn't that cheap. I've seen Dave pay. Carrie is not cheap. I'm probably cheaper than both of those guys, and I pay way more than a lot of other people do in my circles. I promise you that. Yeah, I swear, having dibbed it around and shopped commons has really helped me with video games, because I am not a video game guy. I don't know. I do know some good titles, don't get me wrong. But I don't know all the good titles just by seeing them. And so I usually just bundle it together, and if I can get it for $1 a piece or less, I usually just buy them all, and then I find a winner in there every time, it seems like. This one was a winner in the last batch that I bought. $21.95 plus shipping. It saves a lot of time out there, because I might buy 10 in a bundle, or 8 or 15, and get it for 10 or something, and then just find a winner or two, sell them off, and then sell the rest in a bundle over there on Dibdit and make like $2 a piece or something, and it's like, it's a win-win. $21.95, Armored 4 Core plus shipping. That's the other thing. People expect me to be an expert in everything. I am not. And I think most pickers out there, if you are honest, you're not. I'm not an expert in Bath and Body Works. Just ask Jess when we were running a live show the other day. I kept saying Bed Bath and Beyond, and she's like, it's Bath and Body. I must have said it 10 times. And I've bought and sold some of them before, but my experience is a lot of them don't go for that much and they sit around. These just happen to be a little bit better ones that I did really well on. So, you know, it is what it is. And there you go. Here's another example. This was a Dibdit sale. It was a static sale. I took a picture of a 25-cent box that had a bunch of toys in it, because all of them were modern, except for I saw a 1977 Luke Skywalker in there. And I took a picture, put it on Facebook. And everybody replied to it and whatever. And they're like, did you buy this? Did you buy this? I'm like, no, I didn't buy any of that stuff. It looked terrible. And I was like, I guess I should have bought that. And I knew that sale was going on the next day. So when I drove past it, I stopped and all that stuff was still there. And I bought the things that people told me to buy that I wouldn't have bought. And one of them was a robo dog. They're like, some people are like, yeah, it used to go for 20. Now it goes for like 12, 14, whatever. And I was like, okay, it was only a quarter. So I bought that. I bought a bunch of stuff. And then I reposted the picture and said that I went back, and Adam sent me a message and said, hey, my daughter would like the robo dog. Did you buy it? And I'm like, yeah, I bought it. I was like, hey, I'll just list it over on Dibdit. I'll send you the link and you can buy it. And he did. I put it out there really cheap because he was really kind about it. I actually put 2 robo dogs in there. One was a little smaller PVC and one was the one that's got a little bit of value to it. And I put it out there for $9.95 and he snatched it up and he said, thank you. His daughter will love it. So Adam, I appreciate that static sale on Dibdit, which I don't get a ton of because I don't list a ton statically over there unless it's, oh, that reminds me, I got to put up another granny square. I totally forgot about that. So anyway, thank you, Adam. Here's another example of things that I don't know about. So, you know, you see the comps on the screen, y'all. Don't just assume I know what the value. A lot of times I do, but not all the time. And I think, like I said, if most of us are honest, that's the truth for us. I'm looking for Peg Boy. I've never heard of Peg Boy before either. There it is right there. Pig Boy? Peg Boy. There you go. Some of you laughed. You're like, you never heard of that? I'm like, no, never heard of it. So that one sold for, I have learned to buy weird CDs because they do okay. And this one sold for 20 bucks. These 2 sold for 20 bucks plus shipping. I can always count on Miss Fallon out there to support me. She says, kid was old enough to sell it, old enough to make a decision. Not like Kevin gave him $5 for a full bag. Sheesh. $100. He didn't have to sit there all morning. Probably made his day. I'm all for it. That's funny. Steve Oldman, he says, what a good guy. Help out those kids and help the turtle as well. I figured I had to soften the blow, so we did stop with my dad, and the turtles come, you know, they're not turtles. What are they called? Terrapins. I was educated by my wife. It's not a turtle. It's a terrapin. I'm like, okay. I grew up in California. Shoot me. And I helped a little turtle across the road, which I've done many times. My daughter always makes me stop to do that. And we did that day. I thought, man, maybe they'll think I'm okay, I guess. Anyway, thank you, Steve. No Reagan today because there's no sales out of CommonwealthPicker.com. I told you she'd come back, but there's no sales, so she can't come back. Original Nethead, how to make... Do I have any other announcements? Oh, I'm supposed to say something. That's right, I forgot. We are sponsoring the Tennessee Reseller Meetup. And those guys over there at the Reseller locker room. So if you're in the East Tennessee area or anywhere around there or want to go there, there's a lot of folks going. I think there's 80 or so people already. I don't know that I'm going to make it, but I might. 26th through the 28th, East Tennessee Reseller Meetup. That's Mike Metco Meetups. Mary McQueen helps them out, and the boys from the locker room. So if I'm not there, I hope you guys have a good time. Dibdit is a sponsor. I sent the money to you, Ben. You're good. Original Nethead. How to make the kid's day at the first sale. He got all the money in one shot instead of having to wait all day. Hope the turtle got wherever he or she was going. I went to a fundraiser church sale at a senior living community on Saturday. It's pretty dead here. You should have said pun not intended. The latter 2 were bad, and the first one was good, not good. The cherry on top, today, I paid for shoes at a nonprofit a year ago, and they literally fell apart on my feet this morning before I got further than the bathroom. First time out of the box. Tag still on them. Be careful buying shoes. I just thought that'd be a good one to end on. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the comments, even if you don't agree with me, and I can't wait to see you next time.